Is everyone looking forward to Elseworlds? It's been a while, so are you up to date with Supergirl and the Arrowverse?
When there's 3 to catch up on, it's overwhelming. So I'm as up to date as one needs to be to then come be a part of these verses on short notice. So yeah.
Yeah, and you're obviously in all 3 episodes.
All 3.
So is there like a different vibe on each set?
It's weird because we were all jumping around together, so it was kind of like we took the vibe with us. But one of my favorite things about working on these shows is that the crews up there they're just like the greatest people. And you know, Grant and Steven and Melissa and I just had an absolute blast along with everybody else. But you know, the 4 of us jumping around at times, and it was so much fun.
Yeah, probably gets a bit confusing, I imagine as well. Each day you're in different sets, different people, and then
sometimes you would actually shoot like the same show, or the 2 different shows on the same location. It did get a little confusing at times, yeah.
And so in terms of Supergirl, I hope this is not spoilery for you, but I was wondering, you know, because Superman hasn't been around for a little bit, so you haven't even mentioned really that much this season. So, you know, how is he going to be sort of finding out, you know, Jimmy's dating, you know, Luther and that kind of thing? So you're going to be all good with that stuff?
I'm going to say that whether or not I know that information could or could not be a spoiler, so I'm not going to say that. Done this too many times now. I'm not getting in trouble. Not this close. Not this close. We got 1 week to go, so I can make it 7 more days without ruining this.
All right. Well, let's talk about something that's happened. So we know, like earlier this season, the Lockwood dosed atmosphere with kryptonite, and one of the first things I thought was, what's happened to Superman? Poor Superman. No one's mentioned him. I'm assuming he was all right. Is he not all right? Is that something that's gonna?
You know, sometimes you're forgotten. Sometimes you're forgotten, and it happens. It happens, but you know, he's still got Lois. I'm sure Lois was very concerned and making sure that he was okay. So he's still got people around him.
Just his cousin doesn't care. That's
she was preoccupied.
Yeah.
She had other things to worry about.
And then also, I think, sort of this season, we know that Lois is coming into it. We're going to finally see Lois and Clark together. Is that going to be, because you talked about the relationship a little bit, it's going to be a solid relationship, so that can be one of the cruxes of sort of moving forward, is that Lois and Clark relationship?
Yeah, it's like we said, I mean, even when we first introduced our version of Clark and Superman and Supergirl a couple of years ago, we established that this is an established Superman. He's been around, he's been doing this for a while. And so obviously that relationship with Lois has also been there for a while, and so it is a very strong and solid relationship at that point, and we're not necessarily, you know, growing with them in their relationship at this point. They are very much an item, and you know, one of my 5 hosts of the last decade said his better half, because it's just like they're kind of almost like at that point, you know. So it's we've got a very, very strong relationship.
Awesome. Well, I know that it's Elizabeth Tulloch that's playing her as well, and she's a fan of Lois Lane as well. Yeah. Were you guys like aware of that? Did you have much sort of chat about the fandom at all?
Yeah, I mean, she's obviously a fan of the character, and Bitsy in a way is very Lois Lane-like. She's, you know, had a kind of like a similar upbringing in some strange ways, so it was kind of fun to see that. It's always interesting when you meet somebody who's been playing a character and you understand why, you know, whoever's casting it also saw why this person was perfect for that role. So yeah, it was cool to, having been on the show already playing an iconic character, to then see somebody else stepping onto the show and playing someone who was also a very iconic character was it was cool to be on the other side of it this time, like watching somebody else do it.
Going, yeah, she's good, Lois. Yeah. Were you involved in that casting process at all? Was it like a chemistry test or anything like that?
I do not get asked those questions. No, I was just as anxiously awaiting as everybody else to find out who it was going to be.
Awesome. And so I know you guys are going to have lots of questions to Tyler, so there's a mic here, and there's a mic on this side as well. Don't be shy, come and find as well, and have any questions. I'm sure we'll try and get to as many as we can, we've got time. But I also wanted to ask you, so Colton's here, your team real fuzzy, and you know what's up there. I know you guys did a movie together, so Was it nice kind of reuniting?
Oh my god, of course, yeah. That T-Mole set was a special set. I mean, it was a very, very genuinely close cast. A lot of my best friends are all from that set. And Colton's definitely one of them. So yeah, it was fun being out in Alabama shooting that, having him be able to come out for a day or two and have that kind of in the middle of the shoot was a nice breath of fresh air.
So now that you're both in the Arrowverse, it's making me wonder, how would Roy and Clark get on? Would they be friends?
We'll see. I don't know.
Oh. They might be friends, okay.
Maybe not. Maybe not. We'll see. You never know.
Awesome. Okay, I'm going to start with this little gentleman over here.
Hello, my name is Josiah, and
Hi.
do you know exactly when you'll be back on Supergirl?
What's up, buddy? I do know that I will be back on the crossovers starting next Sunday. And it'll be Sunday, I think, is The Flash, and then Arrow is on Monday, and Supergirl's on Tuesday.
Okay.
So, come
I'm
on, quick.
excited to see you on that episode.
Thank you, buddy. I hope you like it, man.
I bet I will.
Good man.
Or Al signing off.
I appreciate the confidence.
Hi, I'm Bonnie. So you're going to use a little bit of your imagination here, but Derek and Superman have been paired together to save the world from an imminent threat. How would they react to this, and would they be able to do it?
What imminent threat? Do we have any more specifics? Alien, okay.
Alien? Okay.
Who's Derek?
So the first thing that comes to mind is that Derek would be skeptical that aliens actually existed. I feel like he'd have to be convinced until Superman did something and be like, okay, sure, whatever. Unimpressed as always. I imagine they could. I do imagine it being a little bit of a Derek Styles dynamic, just because I've actually always found out with Clark and with Superman, he is that eternal optimist that Styles kind of is as well. And just assumes that, like, we're gonna find a way, it's gonna work. And Derek is this is gonna be terrible, we'll try. So I could imagine it being quite comical, but I think that they would be able to, pull it off.
That's a good question.
That's a great question. I actually would love to see that.
Yeah, there's definitely a web series there.
Yeah.
Hi, what's your question?
I again hope the game turned out your way this morning.
We'll see. It's still going.
So from all the characters that you play, movies and TV, which character do you identify the most with and why?
It's weird. I think in weird ways you identify with all of them, because I think it's a lot of times you find something in a character that you can relate to, and then you just take that piece and focus on it, and then really exaggerate it or make that kind of the primary focus of how you experience that character. So I feel in a weird way I identify with all of them in different ways. Yeah, it's strange. I don't know which one I would say is maybe. I would say actually probably like the one I just finished filming, Can You Keep a Secret, would be most identifiable, just because one of the genre, it's a romantic comedy, and so you are everything else that I've done, there's a little extra layer of character that goes to it, because you either have the fantasy or the genre element of it, or if Everybody Wants Some, there was more of a comedy focus than a romantic comedy, which is more drama. And so I really kind of got to hide behind a guy who just thought he was really, really awesome. And he was a cool dude. He was a cool dude, but he also knew he was a cool dude and totally believed it. Whereas this one is more, I think, probably a version that's not as hidden behind those kind of things. So I say probably that one, which we just finished filming, so that you guys will see it eventually.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Because you're, I think your next up is Netflix's Another Life, is that right? And you're going to be playing an astronaut?
I think so. I think so. I don't know. Release dates are not my specialty. I think that one is coming up. I know Then King You is coming out, I believe, in January, February. So there's a couple ones, but yeah.
You're just too busy, that's what it is.
Too busy.
So many.
Like out of nowhere. It's like we do things and then you don't see them for 3 years and then all of a sudden they all come out at the same time. So
peaks and troughs.
yeah, exactly.
But I mean, in that you're playing an astronaut, I was wondering, is that something that you wanted to be when you were growing up?
I was very, very focused on professional baseball player, actor. Those were like my two big focuses all the way through college and then through that. So no, I never had the astronaut one. Like I thought it was cool, but it was never like that's what I'm gonna do. It was just very, very definitively baseball field on a set. One of those two places, yeah.
So then when you were acting, because a couple of times you played a baseball player, a baseball coach, did you relate a lot better with those characters?
Oh, I mean, those are things that you kind of go, oh, I know this world. Yeah, it's not so much that you don't get to that point with other things by doing research and studying and things like that, but those are ones where like, I don't need to go read a book about what it's like to be in a locker room. It's like that's where I spent my whole life, yeah.
You can just relax on those beds.
Yeah. They're like, where do you think you'd be? I'm like, I'd be right there and I know it. Like, it's not even a question. I know I'd be right there, yeah.
You can tell them.
Yeah.
Okay, hi sir, do you have a question?
Yes, Todd. Tyler, it's great to see you back, as a Superman character.
Thank you.
Huge Superman fan, so it was nice they finally brought Superman into the Supergirl.
Thank you.
My question is, there's been some talk of a Superman series. Can you confirm that? Maybe you're involved in it or something?
I cannot confirm anything like that. I'm always sitting in the kind of the same thing with like the casting of Lois. I'm in the same position as you guys, so I hear all the same stuff. I have no idea where it comes from necessarily, where that starts, but
it may be fake news.
Could be. It seems to be a theme nowadays. I don't know. so yeah, we'll see. Well, yeah, it's a world of TV and movies. I mean, who knows? Like, anything can happen and everything can't happen. So it's it's to be determined. But for now, we've got the crossovers, and then we'll see what happens.
I hope to see more in this too.
Thank you, man. Thank you. Yeah, it's pretty fun. I hope you guys enjoy the video we got coming out.
Thanks.
Thanks, sir.
I know, obviously, once you come back into the world, everyone starts, chatting, there's rumours. I have to say, I think it's been something like 25 years since Lois and Clark and you mentioned Superman now. So I feel like it's time for another spin-off. Do you feel like there's certain times when, the world is ready? This sort of one show's gone away, there's been enough time has passed, and now it's ready for another.
I definitely believe that's how it works. I don't know that I'm the one to say that now is the time or not. I feel like there's a lot of people in some offices that are making those decisions. Not allowed in those rooms. So we'll see. Who knows? Who knows on the inside? But like I said, when I first said that we were going to do this, it was with the idea of doing 2 episodes, and that was it. So
you weren't thinking long term at that time?
No. It was going to be 2 episodes. It was going to be great to come in and play the character and have some fun with some good people. And now it's turned into what 4 plus 3, so 7. So we're down to 7 now. So yeah, we've tripled what it was going to be in the first place. So it's just nice to have been able to do what we've been able to do so far.
Good anyway.
Yeah.
Okay, hi. What's your question?
Hey, how you doing, brother?
Good, man. How you doing?
You're doing awesome, man. I noticed.
Thank you, brother.
You're welcome. I noticed you're doing the Christopher Reeve version.
I'll be totally honest with you, because I can say it now. I think I've already said in interviews, I've never seen any of the Superman movies. The only version of Superman I ever saw was Lois and Clark with Dean Cain.
Okay.
That was the one that I saw.
The reason why I know, because what happens is, the part when the guy who's the nerdy tech guy that I can't think of his name, works for the anyways, he said, "How did you stop the nuclear bomb from destroying California?"
Yeah.
That's from Superman 1 of the 70s.
Okay. Okay.
I was like, cool. Like you're like, yes, Mr. White, yes, and you're all. That's how he was in everything.
Oh, see, okay, well, and see, for me, honestly, that was why specifically when I found out I was going to do it, there was that initial thought of, do I go back and watch the ones they've done already? And my answer very quickly was no, because I didn't want anything that came up in any of the scripts to either be something that did remind me of what I already saw, so that way I'm not conscious of either trying to imitate something, and I'm also not conscious of trying not to do something that's already been done. So for me, it was more that thing of like, I want to see what it is. I would ask them, there's a lot of times where things would pop up, and I would say, is this a reference to something that I need to know? And they would either say yes or no. But we were all very much from the beginning kind of like, no, we're doing our version, so you know, let it be yours, and whatever comes to you. So that's a prime example why I was for me. Yeah. That's just how I saw Clark in that moment with that situation presented to him, without any kind of influence of, oh, I've seen this, or oh, I know what this is, kind of thing. So that was my way of being able to do whatever came to mind and be honest about that. And if someone said, oh, well, that's exactly what so-and-so did in that, I can say, well, I'm sorry, I've never seen it, I don't know. That was just my interpretation of that scene as it was presented to me in the context of our story. So
you did awesome.
Thank you, man. Thank you.
So my question now is, okay, how did you get the casting, and how did you get the part of Superman, and how did you find out, and what did it take, you know what I'm saying, and how exciting was it, and everything, and why you? That's how great you are, but why you?
Why me? I have no idea. I have no idea.
You did awesome, but I'm saying, you might have 10,000 Superman.
I'm sure there are plenty of people. Yeah, no, it was, I got called in for a meeting with Greg Berlanti and another producer, and I went in and met with them, and we sat down and talked for about 20, 30 minutes, just in general, and then eventually they brought up that they were going to be introducing Superman to Supergirl, and they asked if that was something I'd be interested in talking about, and I said, yeah, yeah, for sure. Yeah. So we had another, you know, half-hour, 40-minute conversation about, you know, what we thought was cool about Superman, you know, what to me it always stood out about him as a character, just in general. And that was kind of it. That was a meeting, and we walked away, and then it was about maybe like a week and a half, 2 weeks later. Okay. We got a phone call. They said they're going to make the offer. They want you to do it if you want to do it. I said, awesome. Great, awesome. That was too easy. I don't know why that happened that way. But that was one of those ones where it's just like, you know, sometimes it's you go in 10 times for something, and that's just a process. But I think this was just a situation where I happened to be in the right place at the right time, and I think we just all had a very similar view of who Superman was in this world in the context of this show. And I think that's why it just fit.
Yeah, you were really blessed by God. You nailed it. I'm telling you. That Superman's my favorite since I was a little boy.
Yeah.
So thank you. You did awesome. And we brought back child memories.
Oh, thank you very much, man.
Do you mind if I shake your hand?
Sure, man. Oh, if that's an Indiana Jones outfit, it's even better. Thanks a lot, man. Appreciate it, man. Thank you, buddy.
Thank you. Because, I don't know, I believe that you were their #1 pick. Did they tell you that when they gave you the job?
No. No, these are things that your agent doesn't tell you. My quick little story, when I did Road to Perdition when I was a kid, that my agent told me when I first went in and read that, okay, it's you and 4 other kids, and this was in like August, and then in September, like, okay, they got rid of 1 kid, it's you and 3 other kids. Okay, and then the next month, they got rid of 1 kid, it's you and 2 other kids. And by the time I went in to read with the director, Sam Mendes, it was, okay, it's you and 1 other kid in New York, but you are the favorite so far. Like, okay, so went in and read, got the job. Flash forward like 6 months later, we're shooting, and the producer says to my mom on set, yeah, as soon as Sam saw his tape, he's like, that's our kid. And my mom's like, but there was a couple other ones, right? He's like, oh no, as soon as he saw the tape, he's like, that's our guy. So my agents lied to me for like 5 months because they wanted me to stay motivated to make sure that I got the job.
And they're still lying to you.
And they're still lying to us. It's just, yeah. So that was, that's why we have no idea what the truth is. We have no clue.
Spoken out there. Hi, what's your question?
My name is Marcus, big fan from work.
Thanks, man.
So, my question is, if you woke up tomorrow with Superman's powers, what was the first thing that you would do?
Man. That's a good question. That is a good question. Man, that's a good question. Dang, very deep right here.
What would you do?
I mean, fly around. You could just travel. You don't need to pay for airfare.
Okay. First of all, that is on my list of things to do. I just don't know if it'd be my first thing to do, but I'm 100% with you, and that would eventually be the thing. I mean, God, in a perfect world, what we do, we'd probably fly around and collect all of the weapons of mass destruction, poisons, guns, ammunition, weapons, and probably just throw them in space. That might be the first thing. All right, let's figure this out with words. Let's do that for a little bit.
Hi.
But then I would travel. Yeah, I have a few places on my list.
A lot of flying involved. Hi, what's your question?
Hi, my name is Adam. I was wondering, we know we're going to see a lot of Superman crossover. Are we going to see a lot of Clark Kent too? And what are some of the things that you do to differentiate your performance of Clark versus Superman?
Definitely there will be Clark. I can say that there's photos of Clark. So there was definitely both. For me, it's knowing the difference between. We've always said for me there's different levels of Clark and Superman, and it's one that is fully Clark. There's one that's a little less the character of Clark. Because that's the thing that, like, with him, I've always found that there's Clark. There's Clark as he is, and then there's Clark the performance, and then there's Superman. And Superman, to an extent, it's a public image, and so in a way it is still a bit of a performance because I always said to him, he's not Superman to him, he's just Clark, and Superman is a label that's been put on him from everybody else, and he is that idea to people, and the actions and what he does makes him that, but still when he has the suit on, to him he's still just Clark, but I think he understands what he symbolizes. And so there is even still a little bit of a performance that goes into that, to be that idea, to be that symbol. So for me, it's just knowing in what scene you're with, who you're with, how much you're playing into either character. So there's sometimes where he has to be the full character of Clark, and there's sometimes where he has to be a little bit of that, but can be a little bit closer to his center, and then there's sometimes where he's just genuinely rawly himself. And then sometimes it's Clark in the suit, but he doesn't necessarily have to play the part. And then there's another version that is full on, here I am, Superman. It's me, but this is an idea. So there's an awareness of really kind of, for me, it always sits in at least 5 different places, and just figuring out between the context of the scene, who's in the scene, how far that needle's moving one way or the other.
So you're great in both roles.
Thank you, man. Thank you. Appreciate it.
So in that context then, because obviously he's a journalist and he's the superhero,
Yeah.
which job would he consider his main job?
I think he would consider his main. I feel like maybe if you use like the word job and responsibility, I feel like maybe his main responsibility he would feel that more Superman, his main job. And then that's what makes him maybe feel more connected as a human. Yeah. Everybody would be more his work as a journalist. So I feel like it just depends on in which way you want to phrase it. I feel like he's more responsible because he's the only one that can, not the only one, but he's one of very few, obviously, that can do what Superman does. Whereas when he's in his job, it's not something that only he can do or only a small percentage of people can do, but it's something that makes him more relatable to the people around him.
And it pays.
And it pays.
Hi, what's your question?
Hi, my name is Layla, and my question is that when you were a kid, who was your favorite superhero?
That's a good one. My favorite superhero. I think my favorite superhero when I was a kid was Batman. When I was a kid, yeah. That was him. I feel like that was a bad answer. Was that a bad answer? No.
I think everyone else is also thinking. It's like,
well, no, like I said, like I hadn't seen the Superman movies or anything, but I had seen almost all of the Batman movies, and And so that was just the one that I was always most familiar with. I always liked Batman. I thought Batman was kind of cool.
Still is.
So, yeah. It's
we like Batman.
What's yours? If you say mom or dad right now, you'll get some crazy points.
Wonder Woman.
Ah! There you go. That's a good one. Thank you for the question.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Hi, what's your question?
Hi, how you doing? How's it going, Tyler?
Good way.
Thanks for coming out to Heroes Villains Fest today.
Thanks for having me.
So, people have asked variations of this question. I just wanted to ask, what is the most unique thing you bring to your portrayals of Clark Kent and Superman?
Unique? Again, that's hard for me to answer because I don't know what I would have to compare it to. But I don't know. I honestly wouldn't be able to answer that question. But I would say the thing that's most important to me is to not be afraid to play a character who, because it's so hard when you play any human being to actually believe in this without being, in a weird way, kind of a narcissist, but to be able to play a character who is always on the morally right path, that's a hard thing to do, because it's like I said, when you're playing a human being, we all know that we try as much as we can to always be on a good moral compass for the most part, but we fail because that's just what we do. But when you're playing him, it's like to know that you're playing someone who is just unshakably good, and committing to that, and living in a world where you can play a character who is an extreme optimist, who sees the absolute worst of humanity, but still goes, we can all be great people. This can work. I'd say that to me is a focus that I definitely try to keep in mind.
Great. And if I could ask one more real quick question. With how successful the Arrowverse crossovers have been, if one was to ever transition to the big screen, who do you think would be your ideal villain for something that huge, a big screen Arrowverse crossover?
They're making you think today. You had enough, to get some caffeine up here.
I would say, honestly, just because in the DC verse, Heath Ledger has made this my favorite villain of all time, the Joker.
Yeah.
I mean, that performance for me is one of the greatest performances I've ever seen anybody do in anything. And so that villain to me is just, I think, I don't know when someone will play a villain that I go, that topped it. It's just, for me, that is kind of cemented there for the time being. So probably the Joker.
Great. Thanks, Tyler. Nice to meet you.
You too, man.
But I think also it's difficult to answer that question about uniqueness, because it's probably easier to be sort of objective about it than subjective. So in terms of what people are saying to you as fans, what is it about your character or your Superman that they particularly like?
That they like? I don't know.
Are they chatting to you?
I think it's the fun element. I think it's the joy element. Again, I think it's just the positivity and the optimism. For me, that was what I really liked about the opportunity to do this show when it came up. Was when I watched the Supergirl season that they had done at the time. The thing I really noted was it was kind of fearlessly optimistic and hopeful at a time that was really kind of needed. So I think, and that to me is what I really enjoy about it, is that you can be cynical, and it's hard not to be cynical about things a lot of the time. But I find that a lot of times that really comes down to, not always, but sometimes it can come down to a choice. You can choose to look at things cynically, or you can choose to look at them with even sometimes unjustified optimism, just because there are good people. I mean, I meet good people every time I come to these cons. You guys are great people. You guys are always so nice to us. And, there's great people back here. I get to work with them all the time. So I think, just choosing to look at the good side of humanity, people,
That's a
Yeah.
Superman way.
Yeah, I think so.
Hi, what's your question?
Hi, I had a really good question. If what was like the moment that you sort of realized that like, wow, I'm famous. I got all these people like who actually like me, and they're willing to do what I feel. When was that moment for you? Was it like specific? I guess I don't know time. Does that make sense?
No. No, I still don't really feel it. Like,
I mean, they're like all these girls that will like do whatever you want them to.
I'm finding it hilarious.
I'm gonna pretend I didn't hear what you just said.
Okay, thank you.
No, but I mean, the thing is, the thing is, I grew up in this business since I was 8, 9 years old. And I also grew up in it in a time where I was on a show that was fairly popular when I first started on it. Without cell phones, without Twitter, without Instagram, and so it was a different kind of thing. Like, people would recognize you and say hi, but that was about it. Like, oh hey, you're the dude on that thing, cool. And that was it. Like, that was it. It didn't do anything. It's different today. It's different today. I have a genuine concern for younger kids coming up in this industry nowadays with the Instagram, Twitter, and Snapchat and all that stuff, because I've seen what it does to people who are my age and older that just aren't built to handle it, because it's not an easy thing to handle. It really isn't, and it's something that I feel like people look at and go like, oh, poor people, they can't handle that. It's not. You're not meant to. Like, it's not designed to deal with that kind of thing. So it's a weird thing nowadays, and it does concern me a little bit. But I don't know, the famous thing is just like,
It's just there, like a side.
yeah, I mean, it's genuinely not why I do this. People laugh, sometimes people laugh at this that don't understand what I'm saying when I say it, but like, I don't like attention. I really don't. That's just not my thing. I tend to, in the group, be the ones that sit and listen most of the time. I talk here because they give me a microphone, and if I don't, it gets really quiet for a while, so they talk. But yeah, that's just never been my focus of it. I like doing it because I grew up doing it. I meet great people and have incredible life experiences with people and get to tell stories, and then hear from you guys, how a certain character changed your day one day that you needed it. Like, that's great. That's awesome, and I love that I get to do that. So that whole other side of it is just something that inevitably comes with it because of the world we've created it to be. I wish it wasn't, to be honest, but it just is. And so that's just, for me, is more of a side effect. It's not the main. It's never something that I try to think about. No. So,
Thank you,
yeah.
I'm sorry if
but
that question
no,
I apologize.
No, I'm glad you gave me the chance to express how I feel about it in a different way. So thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Hi, what's your question?
So in your expert opinion, Derek Hale versus Superman, who would win in the fight?
Superman. Derek lost every fight to everyone who wasn't Superman. So like, let's throw Superman on top of it. And really, who are we kidding? Come on. It was never Derek. If you can name 5 fights that Derek won right now, I'll change my answer. 5 fights that Derek won on his own right now. Yeah, see, on his own it's almost like 2. I'm gonna stick with Superman. I'll give it to you that maybe it would be close if Derek was on a very good day and Superman was a little tired. Maybe we'd get a good fight out of it. But I'm gonna have to go with Superman on this one. Yeah.
What was your favorite fight as Superman so far?
Favorite fight as Superman? It's funny, this always happens. It's my favorite because of how it ended up looking and how it turned out. It was my least favorite because of the conditions we shot it in. But the fight against Melissa at the end of season 2 was really
That's what I was thinking about. That's great.
that was really fun, yeah.
Hi, what's your question?
Hi, John. So, how did it go in your movie Road to Perdition that you were working with Tom Hanks, and of course Tom Hanks is, I was like blown away that he was the kind of the villain in that movie.
Yeah, he's a good anti-hero. Yeah. So what's the question?
Now, like seeing like Tom Hanks like being kind of the anti-hero instead of Mr. Good Guy.
Yeah. I mean, it was cool because I grew up. When I did that movie, it was funny. I was young enough that I didn't really get it. I knew who these people were, but I didn't really get it. I don't know how I can explain that any more than by saying it like that. But like Tom Hanks to me was from Splash and from Big and all these other movies. So yeah, he was always like the happy guy. This was definitely something very different for him. But I don't know. I feel like I've been doing it long enough at that point to really just understand that it was a different character, and obviously he's an incredibly talented actor. And so it was just watching him do something different, and I tried to take in as much as I could. But I think at the end of the day, what I say now I'm most grateful for looking back at that experience is having had really great examples, be it Tom or Paul Newman or really almost any of those other actors, of how to just be a professional and how to just be a good person on set. Not everybody gets those examples as a young kid, so you can make mistakes along the way just in how you conduct yourself on set. But I'm always grateful that I have those examples at a young age.
What was it like meeting him for the first time?
I walked into a room, it was me and my mom. I was 13, so my mom had to go with me everywhere on these things. We walked in the room and it was Sam Mendes and Tom, and they were having a discussion about the script, and they were sitting on the couch, and I got up and he was like, "Hi, I'm Tom Hanks," and introduced himself to my mom. "Hi, I'm Tom Hanks." And both me and my mom were both like, "Yeah, we know. The last name we didn't need. We got it." But I mean, that's how humble he is. He's a very nice guy. He has the best reputation in LA for a reason. He's just genuinely the nicest guy.
Awesome.
Hi. I'm Ryan. Having played Superman a number of times and doing your homework and the research and all the work that you put in, can you tell us something about Superman that you discovered, perhaps that nobody else knows?
That nobody else knows? No chance.
Like maybe a secret in your mind about Clark or Superman that maybe the director doesn't know, that helps you with portraying the character.
Yeah. There's a struggle for him that I know, but I would say that's if I'm going to keep it a secret from the director, then it's also like something that I'll keep until I know that character will never happen again for me, in whatever reason. Then maybe I would be able to say this is kind of what I was always sitting on with him. But for now, I'm going to say it's going to stay a secret. So someday at another con down the road.
So the answer is yes.
You can ask that question. Yes, the answer is yes. I just can't play with secrets.
Okay. It's great to see now because obviously you're playing different versions of Superman, and we see you in the red blue suit, and in the trailer we see you in the black suit. So was there any difference between the suits? Was it just the color?
Major difference. Well, I mean, the style of it is different. The look of it is completely different, but just also this is what's great about hair, makeup, wardrobe, on set as an actor, when you have people who are great at what they do. It genuinely does inform you just how it makes you feel, who that other character is. So it was almost a different posture with that suit, which led to a different energy, led to all kinds of things. You felt a different way, and so when you spend a day on set where you wear that suit and you have to jump out of that suit and into the other one, and you go, "Oh wow, this feels different. I move differently with this one." It creates a different energy, and so it's really great when you work with people who are good at what they do in those departments, how they can inform the character as well. It's just it does part of your job for you in a weird way. So yeah.
Always see it. Okay, one woman over here. Hi.
Hi. My question was, since you said that your Superman is established, what other superhero would you like your Superman to team up with? Or villain, whichever you
I would love to see Batman Superman.
Yeah!
That would be cool. That would absolutely be cool. That's just like my simple, straightforward answer. I think that'd be super cool too. No pun intended.
What would you think the Trinity would be doing on a Saturday night? They did not have to go out and fight. What would the Clark, Bruce, and Diana do on a Saturday night?
Thinking again.
Barbecue?
Thank you.
Just a nice cookout at Wayne there, you know. Or the Kent Farm, either one. Just a nice barbecue. Yeah, the place settings would be different whether it was the farm or the manor, but I would say, just like a nice chill. Like, guys, isn't this nice? We just sit around the fire, have a little food, just hang. Do anything. Yeah. It's like Bruce just like staring into the fire, Clark like watching the clouds. Just, you know, stay here.
Thank you. Okay, question of you.
Hi, my name's Derek.
What's up, man?
Before you say you want to play baseball, what's your favorite team? Baseball team.
My favorite baseball team is Chicago Cubs. Go Cubs, go! Even though I'm a Southern California boy, we shot Road to Perdition in Chicago when I was a kid, and so I fell in love with Wrigley Field, and it's my favorite ballpark. I love Wrigley Field.
Thank you.
Thanks. Well, what's your favorite team?
Yankees.
Ah, okay.
I was named by Derek Cedar.
Really? No way. That's awesome, man. Well, good luck next year. You guys are good. You guys got a good team.
Thanks.
You'll be scary next year.
Thank you. Hi, you have a question of you?
Hi. I'm not sure if you watch Game of Thrones, so I'm not sure how.
Do I watch Game of Thrones? Are you kidding me? Final season starts in April.
So my question is, because you had the chance to meet a lot of the Arrowverse cast, who do you think would win in the Game of Thrones, you included? As yourself actors, not the characters.
In the Arrowverse?
No, just like, Stephen Grant as themselves, not Oliver or Barry.
Also like me, Stephen, Grant, Melissa, the whole gang?
Yeah.
Melissa. She'd be sneaky. She'd play that like sweet innocent card, but she'd be plotting. She'd be forming alliances with everybody, but deep down she's just backtracking on all of them. Just like pulling the rug out on everybody, like you don't even know that it's her. I can see it. She's smart.
Okay, so you got these two more questions. These are the last two questions. So, do you want to ask away?
So, you mentioned that you were really close to the teen class and you really enjoyed being able to work with Hoechlin again.
Yeah.
I was just wondering if you've had a chance to really keep in touch with any of the other ones, like Dylan.
Yeah, there's a couple of people like the ones I talk to too often. Ian and JR. We all talk way too much. But those guys, we've been lucky enough, like Dylan and Posey don't do as many of the conventions. And so, Max and Charlie, Daniel Sharman, Ryan Kelly. Ryan Kelly's got a heart of gold. And JR and Ian, we're kind of in Holland, usually jumps on those. So we're the ones who have been more in touch through the cons for the last few years, which has been great because even though the show's not shooting anymore, we still get to go and be with people who really like the show, and we kind of get to just enjoy it now as what it was, and not having to talk about like what it might be, but just appreciate what it was and spend that time together. So those are guys, and Sinqua Boyd, he's like my brother. So he and I chat all the time. So yeah, there's plenty. Like I said, it really was kind of like a family, and so we've all stayed in pretty good touch. Thank you.
How often do you get asked about a reboot or a reunion this morning?
Every once in a while. Yeah, not too often, but here and there. It seems like some people would like it. maybe? For a spin-off? I don't know. We get the Hail spin-off every once in a while. People say something about that. Yeah. Somebody back there really like that idea. We got the long drawn out yas. That's when you know they mean it. That's when you know.
Yeah. Okay, last question. Really good.
Hello. I just want to ask a really typical question, which is, if you could go back to any of your roles, what would you go back to and why?
Ooh, good question.
That's hard. Maybe McReynolds. Maybe McReynolds and everybody wants some. It was fun to have permission to be that cocky. You know? Like, when they're saying, like, you're not, if the only note you can get is, like, you're not confident enough yet, and you're sitting there going, like, dude, I feel like a pompous you-know-what right now. I don't know how much further they can go with this. Like, keep going, and then you get to play with that, and go like, whoa. I feel empowered for a minute. You do. It was fun, but it was good. Johnny Depp said something about Jack Sparrow and having the permission to be that. What was the word he used? It was one of my favorite quotes. It's gonna come to me. It's gonna come to me. I'll remember it at some point. But the word that he described. The Jack about openly being that outrageous, that free of judgment or feeling like you can't do that or say that or anything. It's just so fun and free because you can really try almost anything without worrying like, oh, is that too much? There's a little bit of that with McReynolds. You're like, can I really say that and get away with it? And you're like, I can't, but he can. He can, so I can, I guess, yeah, for the next few minutes. So that was a fun character, and honestly, just that shoot in general, you know, working with those guys. You know, Austin Emilio from Walking Dead is here. He was one of the guys in it. Just such a great group of guys. We had so much fun shooting that. I think just for the experience of knowing the people that I'd get to go back and work with, that character would also win just for that. And the mustache. Yeah. To have an excuse when you go out to have that mustache. Yeah. When you have that, when you have that sitting there, you're like, I can probably say anything right now.
Because I got mustache.
You got mustache.
Thank you so much. Thank you for being an awesomely wholesome Superman.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
And thank you for chatting to us. It's been great having you here. Everyone, come back.
Thank you guys.